So when my kids talk to me about problems that they have or about concerns that they have, then what I can do is just say, hey, remember the technique that you learned? Oh yeah, they say. And immediately their state of mind changes, their mindset shifts from being stuck or overwhelmed into a new possibility where they have this vision to move forward with a simple technique, something that they can do in a matter of seconds. One of the coolest techniques that I experienced, and is one of the ones that is the most popular for many of the students who I've become in contact with, is the laboratory technique. Laboratory is like this little treehouse. It's like this creative workshop that you can use in your mind. When Sherlock Holmes talks about his mind palace, this is like a mind palace on steroids, where in fact, it's not just there for augmenting information, but it's there for connecting with people, past, present, or future. It's there for connecting with your intuition. It's there for getting advice from the other side. It's there filled with counselors who are able to help you. It's there where you can pre-plan a meeting, where you can sell your house, or even go back in time to see what happened in a previous dream. In fact, you can even go back and search your subconscious mind for events that took place somewhere else than where you were. And there's an amazing story that I like to share. Gabriela Domokos is one of the Silva Masters. She had taken the course when she was 15 years old, and she studied the program and practiced the techniques like a child, like a teenager, just curious and full of life and fun. She wasn't expecting anything. She was just seeing what's possible. That fresh naivete, that curiosity of a child. And with that attitude, she continued to develop in her skills, to the point at which she was so adept at intuitive investigation, that is, using psychic abilities to collect information that is outside of where you are physically, anytime in the past or in the present. And she was able to go to a crime scene where her sister's store was robbed the night before. In fact, mentally, she was able to tune in with that location. And when she tuned in with that location, she saw the car that parked out front of the store, the license plate on the car, that there were two people that had come in, that there were muddy shoes during the rain. She could see the footprint size and style. She saw that they put the clothing and the money from the till into the car, that they put the clothes in the trunk, and the money went into a bag. She saw that this car drove away, and that when it drove away, it stopped on this particular street. She was able to identify that street and share that name of the street with the police. Not only did she have the license plate and the name of the street where the car was parked, but she was able to tell them the exact time that the store was robbed. This was before video cameras and other types of electronic surveillance. The police then took that information. They went out to visit the location, the street, where Gabriela directed them. They found the car. They found both the robbers. And they found 80% of the money and all of the clothes still in the trunk of the car. And she did this all, closing her eyes, practicing the techniques, and going into her laboratories in the alpha state. She did this all from her armchair. I don't expect you to believe it. I didn't believe it, not in the beginning. But I continued to practice and test and scientifically go from point A to point B. See what shows up. Because if you're not in the place of just believing, the best place to be is at testing. Because the Silva Method is science. It's not hocus pocus. It's not some magic pill. It is scientific techniques, which even today are still being researched. New insights are being discovered. Neuroscience is starting to learn how it works, but we're still far from understanding why it works that way. But what we do know is by taking certain steps, by following the recipe that's been created by Jose Silva and practicing it regularly, we're able to get the results in every area of life. It's actually the most comprehensive, down-to-earth, easy to use, and simple to learn program of self-development that exists. Now, of course, I haven't taken every single program that's around, but what I have done is learned about many from the students, from the books, and from the courses that I've taken. And what I find is that the different courses create only fragments of what the Silva Method is about. And when I decided to take that course and become the instructor, it was because it was comprehensive. It covered every aspect. And even today, as I practice and integrate the techniques into my life, when I use the techniques, when I have a problem and I apply the techniques that I teach, I always get the result that I desire, or something better. And that's an amazing possibility. What you want, or something better. Because this is one of those things which often as people, we get stuck. We kind of create this idea that we have, this belief, this objective, and inside of that objective, we limit ourselves to that or something less. But Jose Silva's amazing statement of every time you have an objective is to say at the end of it, this or something better. It opens the possibilities to something way better than what you can imagine. So, in the course, one of the main things that came out for me was there's always something better. So, here we're on the beach in Toronto. Because of the Silva Method, I was able to buy a house right here on the beach in Toronto. And what's amazing about that is that there's only 17 buildings right on the sandy beach in the city of Toronto. It's like when I come down here, it is absolutely wonderful, serene. It's like a retreat. I could be somewhere in the Mediterranean, in the Adriatic Sea. That's the feeling that shows up for me. And this happened because I apply the techniques that the Silva Method taught me and that I teach in the Silva Method. Being part of something that's way bigger is a wonderful feeling. And the Silva Method helps us to connect with our intuition, the intuition or our higher intelligence. This is something that we all have the capability of doing. We all have intuition. We're all able to go and connect with the law of attraction. We all have the ability to create a life of abundance, joy, and ease. Because naturally, we are wired to do so. The difference is that over the years, as children, in the different cultures that we grew up in, the way the social system was set up, we were taught not to use it because it was unknown, because the systems were unclear, and because perhaps it wasn't considered scientific. But Jose Silva, over his 40 years of testing, learning, practicing, and implementing and integrating into his life, he discovered that it does work, and that by applying it in every aspect of our lives, not only is it powerful, but it continually produces the same results. And that's what makes it science. If you follow the instructions, if you follow the recipe, and you do it every day, the results happen. There's no question about it. No question about it. So here we are, just maybe an hour walk from the city of Toronto. I guess maybe not even that much. Maybe maybe about an hour walk from the city of Toronto. In the beautiful beach that is just awesome. Now, obviously, if I was living in California, I'd be out there on the California beach. Or if I was living in Florida, it would be different. But I'm from Toronto. And this is what's amazing. To me, when I come out and I look at the lake, it's like I'm sitting in the Adriatic Sea. I could just look out at that water all day. I can't even see the other side of the lake, it's so big. And when I come out here, I imagine when Champlain came to Canada first on a sailboat from France, and he sailed into Lake Ontario after 2 months of sailing. And he shows up in this body of water that's this expansive. He must have thought to himself, am I back in the ocean again? What just happened? And perhaps there was some smart sailor who grabbed the bucket and threw it down into the water and pulled it up. And they smelled or tasted the water, and they discovered that it was sweet, drinkable fresh water. And I can imagine that at that time, when they did something like that, it probably changed his whole belief, his whole idea of how the earth looks, of how big it is, and of where he is. It's an amazing ability that we have, is to imagine, to visualize, to make believe. Because our brains are wired in a way that whether I'm here walking on the beach and feeling the sand under my toes, under my feet as I walk, as it squishes, whether I'm here in the sand, in the physical reality, or whether I close my eyes and imagine myself walking or running in the sand on the sandy beach, it doesn't matter. My brain thinks it's real. And that's what makes it amazing. Because whatever I do up here, as real as I can create it, my brain turns on the engine and it starts to follow through. By using the techniques in the Silva Method, I go into alpha in a relaxed mental state, and I use dynamic meditation, visualization. I can create absolutely anything I want in this physical world as long as I start it up here in my mental space. What does that mean? So here I am, feeling strange in front of the camera on the beach. This is something very outside of my comfort zone. But nobody's really looking at me anyway. It's Toronto, so who cares? What's this crazy guy doing? We're all on our phones anyway doing selfies. So absolutely, the best investment that I ever made was to invest and take the Silva course. And the next best investment that I ever made was to decide to become a Silva instructor and share what I learned and what I experience every day with other people. Because the stories, the testimonials, the successes that people get from even being one day in the course is already worth it for every single one of them. And I wish that for you. I wish you the abundance, the joy, and the ease in your life, because that is what makes all the difference. So if you like what you hear and these videos that you watch, please hit the subscribe button below so that you can be informed of any new videos that we put out. Again, my name is Stephen Dobos, and I am a Silva Method instructor and abundance scientist and coach.
If you would like to watch more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel below. Once again, my name is Stephen Dobos, and you can download a free centering exercise. The information is in the description box below.